Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. And it's titled, My 27 female boyfriend 30 male spent our anniversary with another girl because he was angry my ex 28 male visited my parents. I already seen one of the names in this already. Sorry for chuckling. 2 weeks ago, it was mine and Mark's anniversary. Of course, we've been dating for 2 years. We had plans after he finished work, but he never showed up. I tried to call and text him, but he ignored me all day and didn't contact me until after 1 a.m. He was drunk and went on a rant about how I deserved this because I shouldn't have invited Jason, my ex, to my parents' house. I was pretty mad at him and told him I thought we should break up. He ended apologizing profusely and assuring me he would never do something like that again, and he was just feeling insecure. I decided to give him a second chance. To clarify about Jason, we had an amicable breakup 3 years ago because we didn't like having a long-distance relationship whilst he was away for med school. My dad had a heart attack a week before my anniversary, and Jason went to see him since his mum is friends with mine. Me and Mark turned up whilst he was there. Jason was discussing some of the treatment options the doctors had given my dad with my mum. He left a little while later. When he left, my mum made a comment about how helpful Jason was. Mark mentioned later that he didn't like that Jason was there or what my mum said about him, but I reassured him he was there as a family friend and not an ex. He seemed to be over it after that. Yesterday, Mark's friend Penelope mentioned how Mark had gone out with her and a group of friends that day. I'm furious because he told me he had spent the day at a bar alone getting drunk. Mark doesn't understand why I'm angry over this since I already forgave him for missing our anniversary. Would breaking up with him be an overreaction? Edit to add more info. My parents are nice to my boyfriend. They like him and have never mentioned Jason to him until this happened. They still talk to him, Jason, if they see him whenever he comes back for a visit, but as far as I know, they don't go out of their way to keep in contact with him anymore. I stopped talking to Jason 3 months ago into dating my boyfriend because he, my boyfriend, said he didn't like it. Commenter says straight away, I would suggest it heavily. He's obviously not ready for something serious if he's going to throw a tantrum, purposely ditch your anniversary to then lie to your face and say he was drunk by himself. Then his female friend broke the actual truth to you, that he wasn't alone and was drunk with friends, while you were, I'm guessing, clearly upset and angry for missing an important date. He never tried to hear why your ex was there, I'm guessing, and wanted to punish you. If so, that's childish, and I wouldn't want to be stuck dating a man-child that would rather be petty than actually talk. Opie says, we did talk about my ex being there, and he seemed to understand only to pull this a week later. Another commenter says, wait, so you both had a talk about this and were okay with everything? Then he acts passive-aggressively and like a man-child about it. Opie says, yep. Commenter replies saying it sounds like he cheated on you a little bit. Opie says he didn't. Commenter says, first paragraph you said you invited the ex over, or at least that is what your current boyfriend thinks. Second paragraph makes it sound like your ex just showed up on his own to check in on your dad. Your boyfriend definitely should have talked to you in either situation. If it was the second situation, then he is definitely overreacting. If it was the first situation, then he is still overreacting, but he does have some possible reasonable concerns, albeit it's also maybe from insecurity. There is more to it than just your ex being there. Your boyfriend needs to communicate whatever he is feeling or thinking to you. Sounds like the communication between you two needs some work. Like most answers on here, just communicate with each other. If you or him aren't willing to be open and honest with one another, then I'd recommend reconsidering a relationship together. Comment says, sorry for the confusion. I didn't invite him, but my boyfriend assumed I did. Commenter says, I would dump his ass. Your dad was sick. A good boyfriend would understand that. Your ex was there to help. Then your boyfriend ditched you to get revenge and lied to you about where he was. I think you should talk to him and then dump him. Why did you even get together with him in the first place? He seems like a jerk. I'm sure you can find a better guy, one that will understand that your father's health is far more important to you than ghosting your ex. You were both adults. You didn't cheat on your boyfriend. You didn't do anything wrong. Then he hung out with another girl on your anniversary and lied about it. You deserve the sun, and all you have now is a light bulb. Dump him. Opie says, quoting, he seems like a jerk, and then says he wasn't like this before. Someone said on why Jason was there at the hospital, and Opie says Jason's mum asked him to go because the doctor my parents spoke to didn't explain the treatment options very well, and he clarified them to reassure my mum. I didn't even know he was going to be there. If Mark's ex did the same thing, I wouldn't be upset. I'd be happy his parents were getting support and reassurance during a difficult time. He finished med school and he was dumbing down the treatment options because the doc my parents saw didn't speak to them for very long and was very rush. So my mum was overwhelmed by it all. It was more to help reassure my mum than anything else. Opie then responded to a downvoted comment about her current boyfriend and her being toxic with her wanting to break up. Opie said no. I said we should break up because he stood me up on our anniversary and then called me drunk to blame me for it. Someone says, did Jason have Opie's number? Opie says Jason doesn't have my number and my boyfriend asked me to block him on everything, so it's not like he could ask me even if he wanted to. There's a whole bunch of red flags in this situation, isn't it? Punishing you for something completely out of your control, like your ex helping your sick dad. He punished you by getting revenge by ruining your anniversary, lying about being alone when he was actually out with another woman. I mean, all that and him getting to block you on your ex on everything and stop you talking to him entirely, just randomly like that, sounds wild. Because from what Opie said in this is Jason just showed up to help your family during a medical crisis and helped clarify confusing medical information, which to me just sounds like being a decent human really. But Opie does come in with an update and says, after I posted my original post, I asked Mark for some space to think and went to stay with my parents. He was upset but said he would respect my decision. He did send me one text after I left which said he was sorry and he loved me. Jason's mum called me the day after to ask if she could give him my number. This was very random since he's always respected my decision not to stay in touch with him, so I figured it had to be something important. I gave her the go-ahead and Jason called me later in the day. He sounded pretty irritated on the phone and asked me to tell my boyfriend to leave him alone. Mark had been harassing him on Facebook all day since I moved out. It sent him some nasty and threatening messages, and he also commented on every picture that included me on his profile. Mark's messages read like he was drunk, not that it is an excuse. Jason did block him, but Mark kept making new accounts. I was super embarrassed by his behavior and apologized to Jason and told him I'd talk to Mark. Mark denied it. He tried to say Jason faked the screenshots he sent me to make Mark look bad. When I told him I didn't believe him, he got angry and tried to twist it back onto me again. He asked me why Jason even had my number, why we were even talking to each other, and he accused me of letting him ruin our relationship. He also made a comment about how I should just go fuck Jason if that's what I wanted. I think my relationship is dead. I wanted to try to address his jealousy and how he handles it to see if we could work things out. But he just isn't willing or able to talk about it without getting defensive. The last conversation I had with Jason was him sending me a screenshot of Mark apologizing to him, but this just feels performative now. I don't really know what I'll do now, but I'll post a final update when I've made my decision. Comment says on the back of this one, are Jason and your parents close? Do they meet regularly? Opie says he was close to them when we dated and they still saw him occasionally after. Whenever he came home for the holidays, if they went over to his parents' place whilst he was there. But they didn't go out of their way to meet as far as I'm aware. Commenter says, just a tad bit strange. How close is your ex with your parents, lol? Just saying, not making excuses for your boyfriend, but whatever. Opie says they've known him, ex, his whole life, if that makes it less strange. And I'm not sure if a final update is actually needed for that one at all, because we all think we know where this relationship is going, right? There's no way she's going to get back together with him after that, surely. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, our next story is from Yeezy Taught Me 412, and says I, 21 male, found a folder on my girlfriend's 24 female laptop containing hundreds of candid photos of me. We've only been dating for 5 weeks. Going to keep this short. Last night I stayed over at my girlfriend's apartment, which is about 15 minutes away from my college campus. She had to work this morning and I didn't have any classes today, so I just stayed at her place while she went to work. A few hours after she left, I got bored and decided to try and pull up Netflix on her laptop so I could stream it onto the TV. Whenever I unlocked the laptop, I saw that a photo gallery was pulled up, and in one of the albums, I saw a picture of myself. This album contained literally hundreds of photos of me, all over campus that I had no clue existed. A few of the photos were even of me while I was asleep at her place a few weeks ago. What does this mean? And how should I go about bringing this up? She is still at work and gets home in about an hour. Edit forgot to add that she doesn't even go to my school, so there is no reason for her to be there. Get your ass out of there right now, is what you do. The commenter says to OP, that sounds really creepy. Are the photos timestamped / dated at all? Is it possible she was stalking you before you got together? Oof, dearie me. That's chilling, isn't it? OP says, yeah, about 10 were before we started dating, but we had already met by that point. Still very creepy. Another commenter says, wait, so you're saying 10 photos after you met, but before you were dating? Are you sure she didn't have a crush on you after you met and took them randomly when seeing you? Was there photos before you met? S-Dog says, if true, this could turn into a potentially dangerous situation. Stalkers do not deal with rejection easily. Make copies of evidence as quickly as you can. Stalkers don't just do it as a phase, and she might need some serious psychological help. Opie says that's what I'm thinking too. I plan on breaking up, but should I even bring up the fact that I saw the photos? The crazy part is, she doesn't seem like anything is off about her personality wise. So Easy to Hate says, say this, hey babe, I was thinking of making a several hundred photo collage of myself and my mum for Christmas. Know where I can find several hundred candid photos of me? Commenter says, get out. Another one says OP should run so hard that he leaves a person-shaped hole in the goddamn wall. This is the beginning of a horror movie. Another one says, cue the Kool-Aid man. And Strays Driven says, oh yeah. To which OP then comes in with an update and says, I've been receiving a bunch of DMs asking if I was dead yet. Lol, I'm not dead, I'm fine. So I did what one of the comments suggested I do. I took a photo and a few videos of the photo album in case I need it sometime down the road, and I made sure that I left her apartment about 20 minutes before she got back from work. I drove over to the nearby park, texted her and told her I was working out and asked her if she could meet me there when she got home. Anyways, she showed up and I didn't waste any time. I told her that I found the album on her laptop, and she just stared at me with an emotionless look for about 30 seconds. After telling her to say something, all she said was, well, this is awkward. I don't really know what to tell you. I asked her why she had all these weird photos of me, and she just said, I don't know. I never received a real answer. After trying to get something out of her for like 15 minutes, I told her that I didn't want to do this anymore, and I thought it'd be best if we separated. Again, she just stared at me and didn't say anything. So I left and went back to my place. Since then, she has blocked me on all forms of social media, and I'm pretty sure she blocked my phone number too. So I haven't heard anything from her since leaving the park last night. Herd Nerfer says, if she blocked you, it doesn't seem like she wants to contact you again. Not sure if a restraining order would work in that situation. Hoopy says, yeah, I know. At this point I'm good, but I'm saying if in the near future, if I notice weird stuff continues to happen. Significant Carrot says, I don't know man, her blocking you could be embarrassment, or it could be a way of controlling your ability to block her. I think you should still keep an eye on her. RA says, her lack of any emotion through this entire interaction is the disturbing piece of this. Not even embarrassment or anger. Jeez. No one says, that's straight up sociopathy right there. That icy look was probably the glare of imminent revenge. I'm telling you dude, see about getting a protective order. Sunshine says, especially because she blocked him, meaning she can unblock him at will. She purposely took the power out of his hands. Another commenter says, prove that you're OP and you're not OP's girlfriend typing this with his severed hand or something. Bashful says, they'll know it's me if I type it with my own hand. I need to type it with his hand to make sure his essence is in the post. And I'm certainly not sure how I would feel after that. I kind of would want to know what she was up to in the background, especially because, like some of the people said, that she's blocked him here. Like someone taking hundreds of photos of you in secret like that, I just don't think it's going to stop immediately. I mean, there's the possibility, of course, but that is absolutely terrifying. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Bloody hell, judging by the title, it looks like we're going down the same path for this one. This one's from a throwaway account from the relationship advice subreddit, and it said, went for a tire change, found a tracker under my car, placed by my roommate. How do I go about this? I'm a 25 female. My roommate is a 34 male. I moved to a new town last year. Only knew one person. Stayed with her for a bit until I found a house to rent, but I needed a roommate. She introduced me to a guy she worked with who also needed a roommate because he just got a divorce. I met him first. Didn't get weird vibes, seemed nice enough. About 6 months ago, he made the suggestion to be friends with benefits, and I made the stupid mistake of agreeing. We both did not want a relationship. Everything was fine until he started getting weird and staying up until I got home, questioning me about where I had been and who I was around. I then ended the hooking up, told him I didn't think it was like that. He got mad, everything was fine for a bit. Until yesterday. I live in a pretty rural area where most businesses are small and family owned. Since not a lot of people are getting out, I decided to go ahead and get some new tires and support a mechanic shop I go to, since I doubt they're getting regular business at the moment. I'm there waiting when a guy comes over and tells me he wants to show me something. I'm like, okay. We go over to my car and he bends down and points under at a black box. He asks me if I know what that is and tells me it's a GPS. It took me a second to understand the implications of a GPS being under my car. I was like, so someone put it there? It's clear I have no idea why it's there, and he actually got concerned and told me if I didn't know, I needed to find out. I feel so creeped out because I have no friends here. The friend I knew moved away. I only know some people at work, but we're not friends and it's been hard to meet people. There's no other way a GPS would be on my car unless my roommate put it there. Now I'm freaked out in a way I've never been before and I can't move out. I'm scared to ask him about it. I have no one to stay with, no family here. What do I do? Do I ask him about it outright? I left the GPS there because I don't want him to know I know at the moment. What do I do? Commenter says, that is really creepy. Start planning your exit. Document everything. Scribble says, I would be concerned there are cameras in your bedroom and bathroom. Honestly, I would not feel safe to return home. I would immediately call police and file a report. There are devices you get from a spy store that can scan for the frequency of hidden cameras, but I would not even waste my time with that. My peace of mind would be worth a terminated lease and breaching contract, which a police report would help you in civil court should you have to go. Run, do not walk to the nearest exit. Commenter says, be specific as to how you know. Not what you think or believe, but what actual proof do you have that your roommate put the GPS on your car? What I read is that some guy found something on your car. Opie says it's a small magnetic tracking device. Who else would it have been? I know no one, and this place is too rural for any kind of crime organization like stealing cars. No one would steal my 7-year-old car anyway. Someone says maybe the car dealership put it there. Opie says I own it. I've had it for about 7 years since I started college. Paid for it in cash outright. But OP did update. They said kind of. I'm going to put them here, but I'm still reading through the comments. Thank you guys. There's really great advice I'm going to follow. PSA, I bought my car brand new 7 years ago and paid for it in cash. I've never owed anything on it. So last night I decided to subtly pack my things and plan on making the drive at some point today back to my hometown. He works during the day, but I work from home because my office is closed until at least this summer. I realized I could probably fit all my stuff in my car, And since my lease ends in May anyway, so I'm just moving out. The only furniture that's mine and not the landlord's or his is my bed, and it's old, so I think I'm just going to leave it here. I went down to the police station early this morning and had them remove it. I don't think there's much they can do besides document it. They asked me some questions and I said I didn't know, but I know no one here and think it might be my roommate. They said it looked like a cheap one from Amazon or eBay and they'd check it out. Honestly, I may just end up staying home. I miss being in a familiar place where I know basically everyone in town and I miss my friends. Working from home for a few months might give me enough time to switch jobs. So that's all I have for now. Thank you guys. I try to reply to people as well. So there was a downvoted commenter talking about dealing with the police, and Opie replied saying, I've already gone to the police. Even if I had told them, yep, totally my roommate did it, I know it. I didn't, I simply strongly suggested it. That is not grounds for someone's life to be ruined. They wouldn't even take that as fact until it was proven. Even if they find definitive proof, I'd have to go through with pressing charges. If I did press charges, then it would be a simple misdemeanor. And at this point, if he got a misdemeanor, it would be rightly justified since it was all proven. And that's if I would even bother with charges in the first place. All of this minor things compared to if he was an insane loose cannon that would kill or hurt me if I just didn't mention his name. It's ignorant to not piece together the clues and be safe rather than sorry, instead of just saying, nope, I have no clue. Because I have no clue and I know it's him. I plan on asking him later today after my 8-hour drive home. So I'm interested in hearing what he has to say. So, Opie did update after that and said, since I think it'd be lost in the comments. If anyone is curious, already mentioned I went to the police/home. All settled in now. Ended up asking him about it via phone. He admitted to it, got freaked out when I said I gave it to the police. Said he was concerned for my safety when I would go places by myself after work. Yeah, okay. We got into a scuffle about it and he finally snapped and said that he knew I was seeing someone when I was hooking up with him. I wasn't, so yeah. My first experience with crazy, and hopefully my last. The absolute irony of this guy saying that he was concerned for your safety when he's the fucking actual issue here. And I'm super glad that Opie was able to get out of that situation safely, back to the hometown as well, around by sounds like people that are supportive towards her, and so she's not so isolated anymore. Positive in my book. Shame she had to go through this in the first place though. It always worries me after that, these last two stories, these people are still out there, right? And I'm not saying that people can't change, but the pattern of behavior we've seen in these last couple of stories is absolutely wild. This guy is willing to go and get a tracking device and put it on her car to monitor what she's doing is wild. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.